If The Boys ruins its ending, it could destroy the entire series, and with just 2 episodes left and a lot of things being unanswered, and a finale that now only has 2 hours to completely finish the story, there's a big chance that the ending we're going to get isn't going to satisfy myself and a lot of the other viewers.
No! God, please, no! No!
And this seems to be a reoccurring problem with TV shows in general. Take Stranger Things, for example. One of, if not the biggest TV show of all time, had a very long and tenuous run that took years of world building and character development, and fleshing out a group of characters for years while making their main villain this mysterious, world-ending, dangerous character. And taking so long to make the show because of strikes and delays to the point to where the main characters almost grew out of their roles because the story was being fleshed out for so long, which all led up to this giant battle, a fight for the future to save the world, and the villain they spent so long trying to figure out a way to defeat ended so abruptly in a lackluster final battle, and unfortunately many people were left disappointed. It felt as if it was all for nothing. Vecna was killed almost with ease, and there were no major character deaths, which made people feel like there was plot armor the entire time, or that the show just wasn't sure how it wanted to end in the first place, which to people who spent all that time invested in those characters for years, felt that it had let them down, like it was all for nothing. Something so great lost its way in the end, because it was rushed, or maybe because the writers got tired, or never truly knew how to end the show in the first place. And having no main character deaths made it feel like they had plot armor and weren't in any danger to begin with, and inserting long dialogue scenes taking away from the final battle, causing the show to have one of the worst endings in television history. And another prime example of a show that didn't deliver on its ending was The Sopranos, which many, including myself, consider the godfather of television. It spent years building this emotional connection through multiple story arcs, drama, and heartache with Tony Soprano and his family, just for it all to end with a black screen, making it feel like a viewing error. The story wraps up, leaving it open-ended, but feeling like a cliffhanger with too many questions, so to many it felt abrupt, and even sparked massive controversy at the time, making people call their cable company, complaining that they lost reception during the end of this 8-year-long journey, because there's no way that's how it could possibly have finished. So it makes me wonder, do TV shows even have a fully thought-out vision or idea in the first place? Is there a true beginning, middle, and an end? Or is this whole goal to shoot your pilot, hopefully get picked up by a network, and say screw it from there, let's see how many seasons we can milk this shit for? And when the studios keep wanting more and more, now you have to keep figuring out how to draw it out longer, instead of having a story that can come to a good end or even a great conclusion. Or sticking to source material that you know works and doing a semi-faithful adaptation, but instead, let's stray away from what worked and start making spin-offs, so you can have this interconnected universe and soft launch a new series, before and after the show is even over, which eventually may start to give viewer fatigue or stray the stakes from the main show. And that's exactly where we're headed with The Boys. It's been going for 5 seasons, and it's been using the same formula that has worked over and over again. The over-the-top, outlandish gore and violence was fresh and new, while using unique, vulgar humor that worked incredibly well, and also sneaking in some political allegory, which made it stand out from every other show on television. A real change. It hit close to home, making you relate to real-world problems, and doing a solid job at making you laugh about them. And not take things too seriously when it's all you heard about in your normal life. But now with season 5, it honestly feels like that same formula that had them breaking boundaries in the first couple of seasons.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
To new heights has become their own downfall, with a dick and ball joke around every corner, and Kimiko's first words being so outlandish it feels forced because they don't know what else to have her say, has now taken what used to be one of the greatest aspects of the show and has made it feel like it is out of place and unnecessary. And the political allegory has no longer balanced its neutralism or softly one-sided stance, but has now gone full-blown agenda, far from what people really care about. It's getting to a point where I don't know if that formula would have been able to survive another season, and how many more times can Homelander be in a position to kill members of the Boys and not take it? He had Huey, MM, and Frenchie in a prison camp for months, and just never thought to fly over and laser them to death, which would have ended this continuous game of cat and mouse that has been going on for so many seasons. Homelander has had endless opportunities to just kill these guys, and for some reason he chooses not to. So why season 5 is trying to take its time to build things up really doesn't make any sense to me. It feels like the wrong time, and I don't really like when shows take the entire final season to have a build-up just to rush everything in the final episodes. And Eric Kripke is upset that people don't like the direction the season has been going. He said it in a recent interview. He said, quote, "What are you expecting? Are you expecting a huge battle scene every episode? At no point during the writing of it was I like, oh yeah, we're making filler episodes. So who cares? We all thought at the time we were really getting these important character details." So he's clearly a little upset, and adding more details is fine and great, but do that in the season before you plan on ending your show.
Right, yeah, of course.
Because honestly, yes, that's exactly what people are expecting. This is the end. This is what we've been building towards for years. So many feel that no, this isn't the time for Starlight to meet her dad, or for members of the Seven to have backstory. Because it makes the whole finale feel like it's going to be rushed. And if it's truly done properly, your second to last season should build up the climactic event, so then your final season is all out hell, ending in this grand finale. It also gives time to marinate, get people excited, and then have an optimal time to be executed. But with only 2 episodes left and Homelander now becoming immortal, is that enough time for them to figure out how to beat him while also not disregarding other characters? And this last episode really just felt like it was setting up the spin-off show Vought Rising and trying to get people interested in what comes next when the show hasn't even finished yet. So it's time for characters to start dying. Don't play it safe. This has to be a satisfying conclusion because season 5 so far is undoubtedly one of the weaker seasons, and even its strengths have become its weaknesses. Which brings me to another problem, the heroes. Me not wanting them to win. The best characters in this season are Homelander and Soldier Boy by far. They have the most interesting developments and some great acting. Compared to the others, they feel stiff without too much emotion, so it's hard to root for the heroes when it feels dull in comparison to your villains. And other characters that are supposed to be smart are doing some of the dumbest shit. And now, with Homelander getting the V1, shit is about to get real. And with 2 episodes left, there's not too much time for backstory. This isn't the time for bad sex jokes that aren't funny anymore. It needs to come out hot. This is where the action needs to start. It's time to go all out and finally give us
Scorched Earth.
Finish this off with a bang, get rid of the plot armor, and let's see this final battle. Make characters lose their life trying to stop him. And can they wrap this up in the 2 hours we've got left? If they don't, this is going to be one of the greatest TV series downfalls of all time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What do you think of this season so far? And what do you want to see from these final episodes? And like always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.